What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. This will be the first video of a four-part series, and in those videos we will look at some 2022 NFL draft prospects that the Bears might want to look into. The Bears' needs this offseason. The biggest needs of the Chicago Bears offseason will be the offensive line, interior and tackle, cornerback, wide receiver, and safety. The draft picks for 2022 will be only a second round pick with the 39th, third round pick with pick 71, a fifth round pick, pick 147 and 149, another one. And in the sixth round, we have 184 as our pick. So let's look over every need in this series, and I will give you guys 5 to 6 names that I would absolutely love the Bears bring in the draft. And we will look at some early rounders, second to third rounders, but also some sleepers like fourth, fifth round guys that could be potential impact players right away if the Bears get him. So today will be the offensive line episode, like you saw in the title. And I'm very excited for this one because Ryan Poles mentioned at the beginning that he wants to build this team by the trenches. Football games are won by the trenches. That's his mentality. Him being a former offensive lineman just fits that mold. Same for Ian Cunningham, our assistant GM that we just hired from the Eagles. He was also a former offensive lineman. So two guys that really like offensive line play. And I think it's really maybe even the biggest need for the Bears because we got Justin Fields. We got, in my opinion, our franchise quarterback. And you want to protect your young quarterback. We saw the same thing with Joe Burrow or Andrew Luck, David Carr. Careers, like not with Joe Burrow yet, but careers can get cut short by a bad offensive line play. Andrew Luck retired way too early, one of our most talented quarterbacks the last decade. David Carr got absolutely killed in Houston. And Joe Burrow, we saw it. Yes, they made the Super Bowl, but what lost them the game? Probably the offensive line because they couldn't hold up against the Rams' defensive line. So the offensive line will be crucial to next year's success. And let's get over 6 prospects today. I got 6 with me today that I absolutely like and would love the Bears to bring in. So let's get right into it. The first one is Zion Johnson, interior offensive lineman from Boston College. He's 22 years young, 6'3", 314 pounds, and this is one of my favorite prospects in this whole draft. Obviously, we don't have a first-round pick. So I'm looking deeper into the second, third, and later round guys because we have to get value out of those. And Zion Johnson is an absolute beast. I hope he somehow falls into the second round and the Bears will be able to get him. What's good about him? He's a very fast, agile mover with elite footwork. Played good competition in the ACC. If you watch the Clemson tape or the Mizzou tape, he was absolutely dominant against those teams. Powerful, physical. His hips are always square, so he can adjust very well to rush moves. A good blocker down the field in the second level. Very patient. The most outstanding thing to me is definitely run blocking. And cons are he has to improve picking up blitzing linebackers, where he has to be more consistent on it. If he's double teaming and a fast linebacker's blitzing, he somehow is too late at picking him up, but that's something that can be coached up, and that's about it. He has good refined technique. He's already pro ready to me, so he would be an absolute banger for the Bears to get. In conclusion, he's a smooth operator at the line, very physical blocker who drives defenders with, to me, good technique. I have to say I'm not an offensive line expert. I've never played offensive line before, and I'm only watching tape if it comes to the draft, so I also read into a lot of draft pages. All of them love this kid, and I think he is really good. He's really able to anchor people, and I would be so excited if the Bears get him. He's projected late first to early second round. One of the best players available if he falls, and if he's there, the Bears should absolutely have him, absolutely get him. That's a no-brainer. He would solidify the O-line immediately, move Mustafa out. At the Senior Bowl, I have to mention this, he had a great performance, dominated at day one, and showed center ability, which is great to see. There are videos out with him of him snapping the ball and practicing the snap. That would be amazing. I don't know if I would like to move him out of guard, but I mean, he's 6'3", 314, so he would fit the center role. And with the Bears, that's the best thing about the Bears' interior offensive lineman right now. James Daniels played guard and center. Cody Whitehair played guard and center. And now you would have a guy in Zion Johnson that played guard, but shows the ability to snap the ball and maybe potentially be a center. So you could really just choose by yourself in the offseason at training camp who's the best fit at center. But Zion Johnson to me would be an absolute amazing home run pickup if we could land him. Moving on, I want to talk about Dillon Parham, interior offensive lineman out of Memphis. 6'2", so a bit on the smaller side. 313 is his weight, but this one is also a riser in the last couple of weeks after the Senior Bowl performance of his. Due to a lot of screens at Memphis, he really highlighted that he's a great second-level blocker. He's fast with great blocking angles and strength. He has crazy footwork, good hips, and is very agile. His hand placement is very good. He can be a mover at times. Very intelligent guy, patient blocker, and has the ability to anchor guys. Cons, pro strength to me is maybe a question. Depends on the position he will play. But on tape, he's very powerful, has extended arms, and holds on very well to blocks. Size, 6'2", is not prototypical, but a move to center would be very beneficial to his strengths. And he has some smaller technique issues, but those things can be coached up in the pros. Those are elite coaches that know how to do their job and how to coach up these guys. So I'm confident in the technique stuff with Dillon Parham. At the Senior Bowl, he played and tried center and did really well. He had no problem adjusting to the best in the nation. Like obviously at the Senior Bowl, you got the best of the best edge rushers. Yes, there were no Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau, but really showed the ability to play center, which is super interesting to me. He's projected second to third round. His stock went up after the Senior Bowl, so maybe he's now a more solidified second rounder, but maybe later in the second round. And if the Bears acquire maybe a fourth in this draft, if they decide to trade down and get a fourth round pick, this would be the best fit. You probably have to give up your second round pick, your pick number 39, move back a little bit. Maybe some team wants to trade up. So give them that pick, move backwards a little bit, get a fourth rounder out of that deal, which would be amazing. And maybe Dillon Parham is still there. And if he's there, this would be a banger pickup. I like Zion Johnson over him, but man, Dillon Parham is an amazing prospect that's really rising in the rankings right now. That would absolutely also solidify the offensive line. Same with Johnson. Right away, a starter at center, maybe at guard, but center would be the best fit for me as well, just as for the other draft analysts. So, very good player. Next up, we have the first tackle prospect and the only tackle prospect, Bernard Raymond. The Austrian offensive tackle / offensive guard played at Central Michigan, is 24 and will be 25 at the start of the season, so a bit of an older prospect. He's 6'7", 304 pounds, and is projected late first to early second. He switched, actually that's a crazy transition, he switched from receiver / tight end, bulked up to play O-line, and the last 2 seasons immediately started for Central Michigan. Very crazy transformation. He has long arms, good agility, very strong, and is crazy athletic. That's the thing with him. He has tools over tools over tools, and a lot of scouts like what they see in his athletic ability. Standout to me is he's very intelligent and a hard worker. He could play maybe guard, or he can play guard and tackle, could play guard in the pros, so he's very versatile. Standout to me is footwork. He has quick feet, adjusts to rushers very fast. In the run game, he really pushes guys. But negative with him is consistency with his hands, with his balance. Sometimes he gets overpowered because he is over-aggressive when attacking some rushers or if he wants to block in the run game. And he is too upright, so players really can get underneath of him and drive him backwards. Scouts see him as a guard in the pros, same as a tackle, so the opinions on Raymond are really split up. The Bears could use a guy like him in the interior. I would love that. But the thing is, I don't know what to think of him. He has 2 years of experience only, but at the same time, that's a crazy development. Like, he developed into a good tackle in college that fast, so it gets me excited with his athletic ability, what he could bring to the pros. To me, I would like the idea to bring him in if he's available, see where he's best at, guard or tackle. We got so many adjustable pieces, like I said, James Daniels, Cody Whitehurst, Tevin Jenkins, left tackle, right tackle, both playable positions for him. Larry Borum is a right tackle, but maybe he could move to guard. And to his Senior Bowl performance, Raymond got badly beat, but he got, like I said, tools over tools. He's very athletic, and teams take shots at guys like him more recently, or more often recently, and it paid off for some. It also went very bad for some, but to be honest, Raymond is not my favorite pickup in this draft. If Zion Johnson or Dillon Parham are there, I would like the Bears to pick them over Raymond. If not so, Raymond seems like a very good player. There's a lot of work left to do with him, but maybe his potential attract the Bears, and I'm all in for taking the guys with a lot of tools, but I'm more confident in guys that already showed me than can beat guys with technique. So Bernhard Raymond, a very interesting draft prospect, but not my favorite one. Moving on to Lucitia Smith. I hope I have the right pronunciation of his name. Interior offensive lineman, 6'3", 321 pounds from Virginia Tech. Good about him. Very athletic guy. Fast. Moves very well in the second level. Great footwork. Good hands. Holds block very well and long. And an amazing puller with strength. He's a true mauler. Very outstanding in the run game. Solid pass pro blocker as well. And he's just a guy that I want on the offensive line on the Bears. He's nasty. He's aggressive. Has great low pet level. So guys can't easily get underneath of him and push him backwards. He would absolutely fit next to Tevin Jenkins. And as a nasty offensive lineman, that's just something I would love to see the Bears bring in. More aggressive guys. Cons for him, he has shorter arms, so he might get outreached at time by linemen and some more adjustable technique issues. But Lucitia Smith is one of the more complete guard prospects that are more pro-ready than others. He's projected second to third round. He might be the best suited as center, but would be up to the Bears with all the versatile offensive linemen we have. I don't think his arm length is a problem in the NFL at guard, but that's something we'll have to wait and see. But also a very, very good prospect. I don't know if he will fall to the third round, but if so, the Bears could take a receiver or a cornerback in the second, and with a third round pick, take Lucitia Smith, and that would be an absolute banger. Like, he's also one of the best guards in the draft with center potential. Marquise Hayes is the next prospect we want to look at. 6'5", 324, I think the heaviest athlete yet, from Oklahoma. Played guard there and is 23 years young. What's good about him? Powerful, angry blocker. Good pull blocker with great angles. Great at the second level, like most of these guys that I have here. Played good competition. I watched the Nebraska and Oklahoma State tape. He absolutely dominated Oklahoma State, in my opinion. Great hands, violent blocker, and very smart at the same time. That's what you have to be as a guard too, or as an offensive lineman in general. Very smart, and he is that. Cons, speed rushers get him with redirection moves at times. He's too upright. Rushers can get underneath him. In the pros, a bull rush would absolutely kill him now, but that's something he can work on. Footwork is good, but not more than that. He relies on body strength too often, but on tape stays on the blocks well. So maybe if you coach up the footwork, he will even be better at the pros, which will would be absolutely great. He's projected 2nd to 3rd round or even 4th round. Like draft analysts really, I don't know, are different on their opinions on him. Some say 2nd, some say 4th, some say 3rd, some say even 5th round. If he's there in the 4th, take him, Bears. Trade up, get him. Would love him there. Very angry blocker with potential. But the thing with him is his athletic ability is not that high. So that's what's the only thing that sets him apart from the others. Athletically, he's not on the same level as others. But he would be an immediate potential starter with a lower ceiling, but who knows how he develops in the pros. I would like him as a prospect in the 4th round, would be an absolute steal. And lastly, we want to look at Luke Fortner, offensive lineman from Kentucky, 6'4", 300 pounds. He played all of 2020 at center. Before that, he was a guard, and he played a full season at center, so he is technically the first true center in this video. Pros about him: huge guy on tape, like he looks like a monster. Smooth mover in the 2nd level, good blocking angles, played in the SEC, so great competition, above average quickness and hands, and adjusts fast to gap exchanges. He showed his ability to adjust from guard to center and looks just like a natural center in general. So that shows you he's smart. He can learn quickly. That's what you like to see as a scout. And cons, he's too high at times with his hands. So rushers get access to his frame really quickly and can really control what they want to do on the play. And also, he's not really finished yet with his technique. He has good, solid, average technique, but it could be better. And he's a more finessed and powerful blocker. He's projected 3rd to 4th round, maybe even 5th round. He would be a perfect fit at center right away. He would be an immediate upgrade over Sam Mustipher. He's way bigger, way more powerful. If he's there in round 4 or even round 5, this would be absolutely amazing. Potential to be the starter right away with good physical tools that you could develop into the future. So he might even be a good to very good center in the near future. So Luke Fortner would be a great later round steal if the Bears decide to address the position later. But to me, the dream pickup is still Zion Johnson or Dillon Parham. So that's it for the first episode of this quick little series. And then the next episode, we want to look at cornerbacks. There are a lot of good ones in this draft. The offensive line class is very good too. So I'm excited what the Bears will do with that. Ryan Poles will make the right decision. I'm confident in that. And I can't wait for the draft to come. Obviously, we have to wait and see what free agency will bring, how they want to address that. Especially with cornerbacks, because there are a lot of solid cornerback twos out there on the free agent market. I went over that in my free agency video just a week ago, I think now. And like Steven Nelson, who I mentioned in that video. So offensive line might be the #1 priority going into the draft, but who knows? But thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram for the latest news. And as always, guys, bear down.